Hello everyone, myself Heming Satwara. I am from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today in this session we are going to discuss about PIR sensor. It stands for Passive Infrared Sensor. So now in this section we are going to interface this PIR sensor with Arduino Uno board. So let us start with today's session's outline. First, we are going to discuss about, we are going to use various types of components, system layout, program, actual representation in software, and finally PIR project on breadboard. So here we can see, this is PIR sensor components. So basically we are going to use this sensor. This is actual representation. This is actual representation, and it is look like in software like this. Well, we are going to use Proteus software in which you can find this type of sensor, which is PIR sensor. So here it is in circle shape, which is belongs to here. Here we can see this is circle like this, and there are three various types of pins. Here you can see. First one, it is ground, second one, it is out, and last one, it is for VCC. Here it is VCC, second one it is out, and last one it is ground, GND. So basically three pins are there, and furthermore we are going to use LED and jumper wires. So jumper wires, because we are going to connect this pins with this Arduino Uno. Here we can see this is Arduino Uno, as we discussed in. Here we can see this is Arduino Uno pin diagram, in which we are going to connect various pins on digital port. Here you can see this is digital pin port. And here this is analog pin port. Here this is USB plug, which is going to be connected with your laptop. Here it is external power supply to energize this Atmega 328 microcontroller, in which we are going to add program. Here this is the serial out and serial in pin. Now we are going to connect 5 voltage from here. It is 5 voltage power pin. Furthermore, if you want to use 3.3 voltage only, so here it is, there is an option 3.3 voltage power pin. So this is basic about Arduino Uno R3. Now here we can see system layout, PIR sensor. First we are going to use PIR sensor like this, and we are going to connect 3 pin with this Arduino board like this, right? And then Arduino is going to be connected with this LED. So here basically this is your input and this is your output. Now this is your system layout. Here in this practical session we are going to use LED. In case you can use buzzer as well. One type of it is indication that one object get detected. So with the help of LED you can judge there is an object, or you can judge with the help of this buzzer as well. So in this practical session we are going to use LED. Here is the program for PIR sensor. Now start with integer sensor state is equal to 0, then void setup. As I told you earlier that here we are going to use setup because this is Arduino programming. When you are programming in C or C++, at that time you are using main, but here you have to use setup. Then after we have to define pin mode. Here you can see pin mode which is input 2, pin number 2, and pin mode 13, which is your output. This is your output and this is your input. Then serial begin 96,000. That means we have to open the serial port at 96,000 bps. So we have to open this serial port. That's why we are using serial.begin 96,000. Then void loop. So I told you earlier that we are using void loop because we have to use this loop continuously. That's why we are using void loop. Read the state of the sensor or digital pin. That's why we are using here sensor state is equal to digital read. Here we are using digital read 2. That means this is your input pin. So whenever you try to read the state of sensor or digital input, so you have to just write 2. Whatever you entered over here. Here it is value 2. That's why we have to write 2 as well in digital read. Next one is if and else statement, because it might be 0 or it might be 1. So for LED we have to use here if and else. If sensor state is equal to high, digital write 13. At this time it defined that is high. Serial.println sensor activated. We are using this serial.println because it prints the data to the serial port as human readable ASCII text. Then digital write 13 low. So here we can see we are using here this 2, digital write high and digital write low. Here 13 indicates that is your output pin, as we defined earlier. Pin mode 13, that is your output. That's why we have to write here 13 high, 13 low. Then at the end there is a delay 10. Delay 10 milliseconds bit to improve simulation process, because it delays 10 milliseconds. Then after it read next condition. So this is all about the programming for PIR sensor. Now PIR sensor, that means it is passive infrared sensor. Now why we are using here PIR sensor? Why it is referred as passive? Because it is not radiating any type of energy to the object, right? That's why it is known as passive infrared sensor. Here we can see this is PIR project. First we have to put one Arduino Uno board. So here this is Arduino Uno. We have to put one PIR sensor. So here this is your PIR sensor. Now there are 3 pins. First it is grounded. So here we can see this is grounded. Second one, it is your out. So we define already with this port number 2, because here number 2 it is connected to this port here, and you will get your output at the LED side. Here this is your LED, light emitting diode. That's why we define LED on pin number 13. So we have to put this connection on 13 pin number right here, and second leg it is grounded like this. Now here we can see this is connection of in between interfacing between Arduino board and PIR sensor. Now here we have to energize this PIR sensor. For that we have to connect VCC supply. You can see here this is your VCC. Now in this board there is no 5 voltage inbuilt, right? In this Arduino board there is no 5 voltage is inbuilt. That's why we are going to connect here like this. This is VCC supply. We have to set this voltage at 5 voltage. So it is energized PIR sensor and we can get output accordingly. Now we have to give input in this sensor because PIR sensor that detects the object, but here we are using this software, that's why there is no object we can put on software. We have to put toggle switch. This is one type of toggle switch. That means one time it is 0 and one time it will be 1. So through this 0 and 1 we are providing input voltage and we will get output at the LED side. So basically this is your PIR project. Now here we can see this is final PIR project on breadboard. So this is your breadboard. This is your breadboard. And here it is the connection, right? So basically here this is positive and this is negative. Now remember this thing, this line is connected like this. This dots, here it is visible, it is connected with each other horizontally like this. It is connected like this, right? Now whereas here you can see this dots, it is connected vertically like this, right? For example, if you are putting LED on this pot, on this hole, so you have to connect component in series with this hole, right? So that's why remember this thing, this is most important term for using breadboard. It is connected vertically and here it is connected in horizontally. This is horizontally and this is vertically connected. Similar here, it is vertically connected and this is horizontally connected. So basically this is PIR project on breadboard. Now we are going to discuss with the software. Now here you can see this is the software in which we are going to interface this Arduino board with this PIR sensor. Now as we discussed, number 2 it is your input port and we will get output on number 13 pin in the form of LED, right? So first what we have to do, just placing this component and connection is not enough. Here you just have to add some program file like this. First here you can see this is program which we have discussed in our PPT. So just we have to verify it like this. So it is verified and it is processing. If there will be any mistake, so it shows you that there is an error. Here it is compiling. Now as I told you earlier that just you have to select this file, you just have to copy this location. You just have to copy this location to Arduino over here like this. You just have to paste it here, program file, and then OK. So we loaded our program in this microcontroller 328. Similarly, we just have to add TEP hex file in this PIR sensor. For that you just have to click this. So we are using here PIR sensor. It is here PIR sensor TEP.hex file. Open. It is loaded on it. Click OK. So in both we are added this program. Now you just have to run this program. Now here PIR sensor can sense the object, but here you can see it is 0. No object is here. That's why your LED is off. Whenever I am entering here 1, there is an object. So it will be blink like this. Here you can see your LED is on. Now it is automatically off. That means there is a delay in 10 seconds. 1. Here you can see 10 milliseconds delay. That's why it comes to 0 automatically. Like this. If you can see, for example, my cursor is an object, so it is passing through this PIR sensor like this, so your LED will be on. So this is basically program of PIR sensor with Arduino board. So like this you can interface Arduino board with this PIR sensor and you can detect any passing object through this sensor.
Hello everyone, as you can see here, this is Arduino board Uno, which is interfacing with this PIR sensor, in which we have to plug 5 voltage, which is known as VCC. Red wire, it is going to the number pin, which is pin mode, and last wire, gray wire, which is going to be to the ground. Here we have to connect LED. Here you can see easily it is on pin number 13 and one more leg is grounded. Now as per our program, pin number 2 is our input mode. That's why we have to connect over here to this output of this pin. And here you can see we just have to give power supply to this PIR sensor. That's why it is connected to the 5 volt and other leg is grounded. Now we loaded program in this microcontroller at Mega 328 already. So what you have to do here in this program, you just have to click on this right button. Whenever you click this button, your program will be uploaded to this microcontroller at Mega 328. Now here you can see this is programmer. Now whenever I shake my hand here against this PIR sensor, so your LED will be on. So that's it for today's session. Thank you.